All right, Rob the Dark Sider here with you for a little bit of Jets podcast action, YouTube action, all of it. Don't forget to check me out on you got YouTube, which you may be watching me on. You got my podcast, Jets Fans Uncensored, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. So what I'm going to try and do is do this every day. Obviously not going to happen every day, but if I can do 20 minutes to a half hour every day, get a little bit of continuity going here. Also going to be tough here during the off season, although as we get closer to the draft, there'll be a lot more to talk about. But anyway, enough of that. Let's jump right in. So a couple of things going on in Jet World this week. First off, Becton apparently working out hard, in shape, or at least that's what he wants us to think. And a bunch of people asking about his conditioning. So he got pissed off and told them to come down and check him out and, work out with him, challenge him to work out. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to go try and work out with a 6'8", 370-pound guy who, probably, lifts trees out of their roots. I mean, what is he going to prove by having some reporters come down and work out with him? And quite frankly, if I went and worked out with him, he could be 1/10 the player the Jets wanted to be, and I'd be like, God damn, that guy's good, because he'd be huge. He'd be way stronger than me. He's probably, even as big as he is, he's athlete slow, but he's probably normal person fast. So I'd look at him and say, holy crap, this guy's awesome. And the Jets would be like, nope, sorry, not good enough to play offensive line for us. So I think Becton needs to, probably just be quiet, get out on the field, and let his play do the talking. Because at this point, he's never ever going to prove anything unless he actually gets out there and does something. Until then, it's all going to be speculation. So that's my my thing on Becton. Next, let's take a look at my thing here. Denzel Mims. All right, come on, Denzel Mims. Joe Douglas talking him up and like, hey, we're really excited about him this year. Right. You're really excited about a guy who couldn't even, get on the field without a penalty. Come on. I'm not buying that, Joe. I realize that you may try and trade the guy for, maybe, a semi-deflated football. And the more you talk him up, maybe you get 2 footballs instead of 1. But the league's not stupid. They know he's not part of your plans. They'll wait for you to cut him. Nobody's giving up a draft pick for the guy. And, if you want to praise him, listen, I get it. You have to play the game. But, praising Denzel Mims is never going to do anything to freaking boost his trade value. No one's falling for that. And if they do, then again, Joe Douglas is the guy who got 3 draft picks for Sam Darnold. Come on. Sam Darnold, 3 draft picks, one of them a second rounder, which we're going to take advantage of this year. That's bull. But hey, man, if that guy, let's not forget the Jamal Adams trade. The guy clearly had some kind of magic. I don't know what pictures he's got of guys doing what with what farm animals, but Joe Douglas seems to manage to get things done in the trade world. So maybe he can get like a 5th rounder for Mims, which I would take it in a heartbeat, right? You gotta. I mean, is there anybody out there? If you are, please comment below. And if you like what you're hearing and seeing, click subscribe. The more subscribers I have, the more I get out there, and maybe I can make 50 cents a week one day, Anyway, if you disagree and you think Denzel Mims is worth more than a 5th rounder, which I'm setting the bar high here. I mean, I don't think he's even worth the 5th rounder. Then by all means, tell me below and tell me why, because I don't see it. I don't see him being worth anything at all. The whole world knows the Jets are going to look to cut him very soon. So why would they even consider giving a draft pickup for Denzel Mims? I don't think they're gonna. So if Joe Douglas can talk him up enough to get any kind of a draft pick at all, anything for the Jets, even a conditional 7th rounder, then he's executive of the year, because Denzel Mims, had a terrible year. Everybody knew he was not part of the plans. Everybody knew he was terrible. He just every time he got in there, he did something wrong, whether it's penalties, drop passes, running wrong routes. I mean, he's just brutal. And Joe Douglas probably can't salvage this one, although I give him credit for trying. And if you can get anything out of that, then we're talking goodness here. All right, next subject: Kayvon Thibodeau, the pass rusher that expected to go 1 at one point, now 2. Now people even have him falling to the Jets or beyond. Had worked out for the Jets, and like them, and they told them they were interested in him, which I'm sure teams tell everybody they're interested in them all the time to. Like they wouldn't be talking to him if they weren't, but obviously you can only take one guy, and you're not going to say, well, thanks for coming down, kid. sorry, but we're not interested. We're not drafting you. Aside from the whole chess game they play with other teams, let everybody think they're taking Thibodeau. Maybe someone will trade up and grab him instead. Whatever. It's all a chess game. But I like this kid. Now, a lot of what you see about him, you've written about him, is that he is not all that flexible and not. I don't know about speed wise, like running speed, or if he's just not quick. But there is a lot of talk about him having some, what's the word I'm looking for here? Some kind of, I wouldn't say an issue, but some kind of, like lack of something. Obviously not talent, but lack of something that could prevent him from being as good a player as you would want in the position you're going to look to draft him. Others think he's the top draft prospect in the league. Others, still others think that he's a project. So whatever the case may be, if Thibodeau's there at 4 and you're the Jets, do you take him? Do you take him? I think I might. The Jets need a pass rusher in the worst way. This kid has the prototypical pass rusher's body, like the speed rusher. He's tall and lean. I think I'd probably do it. Again, it's hard for me to really speak knowledgeably about college football because I don't follow it. So this is just talking out my ass here, right? And everything I've read about the kid says that he's kind of boom or bust. And everything else I've read about the Jets is that Saleh likes a pass rush because he does a lot of things with the secondary, and a good, strong pass rush disguises some of the different coverages and weaknesses that he's got back, or potential weaknesses that he's got back there. So clearly the Jets tried that last year, and it failed miserably because, the pass rusher that they had got hurt. Their pass rushing linebacker got hurt. Both safeties got hurt. So the secondary, which was young and inexperienced, got exposed quickly and regularly. So, yeah. I think the pass rusher is an integral part of what Robert Saleh wants to do. So I'm thinking if he's there at 4, the Jets probably take him. That said, I'm really high on Kyle Hamilton as well. I've mentioned that before. I'm not sure if the Jets go corner that early. They might, but Sauce Gardner is a guy that people have been looking at and talking about lately. And I don't know if he lasts till 10, because I'd love to get the guy at 10. Grab something at 4, a monster at 4, and then have Gardner at 10. Not sure he makes it there. And then the other thing going around, of course, is the offensive lineman. I think those are your 3 or 4 choices right there. I think it's going to be either offensive lineman or defense. Defense will be either the pass rusher, if they like him, Hamilton, the safety, or one of the corners. And I'm really hoping it's not Stingley. This guy, he may be great, may be talented. He hasn't played in a year and a half. He's been hurt. D. Milner, anyone? Anybody remember D. Milner? What was that? 2013, right? Was it 2012 or 13? I think it was 13. Where him and Sheldon Richardson were drafted 9 and 13, and Milner never got on the field. I mean, he played, he played, literally got on the field, but he was never out there. He was terrible. Awful waste of a first pick. And I don't want to see that happen with Stingley again, especially when you have another corner there who may not have been hyped out of school, but the guy's real good. He's 6'3". I mean, there's not many receivers going to win a jump ball with a 6'3" corner. Guy never gave up a touchdown in college, which, again, it's college, and this is the Jets. They'll end up giving up a touchdown on the first play from scrimmage, but that's besides the point here. The Jets need a corner, so I'm not so fond of the corner at 4. I would love to get it at 10, and hopefully Gardner will be there. So if you're looking at it from my perspective, then I think you're looking at Hamilton, Thibodeau, or the offense, one of the offensive linemen, Neal, Ickey, whichever one of those guys will fall there. Some people are saying Jacksonville is taking Ickey at 1. Others say they're taking Neal. Neal looks real good. Tall, thin, lean for an offensive lineman. Oh my God, can't speak, and super fast. So I'm fine with either of the offensive linemen, Hamilton or a Kayvon Thibodeau. Not so fond of the cornerback at number 4. All right, moving on. Amari Cooper. Seems like he's going to be released by Dallas. And then my next subject's probably going to be somewhat related to this because it wasn't originally, but now it is. You'll find out about that in a second. So Amari Cooper going to be released by Dallas, 27 years old, superstar sometimes, complete dud other times. So do the Jets go after Amari Cooper? Now, conventional wisdom would say, yeah. I mean, the guy, he's 27, he's in his prime. He's really good at times. But Rob, the dark side of wisdom says no. He he's superstar at times, but not very good at other times. And you want someone a little more consistent. I don't think Amari Cooper has shown that he is a consistent enough. He's a superstar enough, consistently enough to be a guy that you pay to be your number one guy. I think Cooper is I don't want to say flash in the pan career wise. He's a flash in the pan as in like sometimes shit's gonna happen, sometimes it's not. And the guy's real good when he's on. He's not so good when he's not. And he's done the same thing with two teams. So I can't say that it was one system or the other. But at the same time, the guy was really highly regarded coming out of college a few years ago. He's still only 27 years old. You got to figure he's got 3 or 4 real good years in him. Can the Jets get him cheap? I would shy away, personally. I would shy away. I want a true number one if I'm going to go get a receiver for the kind of money that Amari Cooper is going to want. Because he's not coming here for, like Mr. Corey Davis and, Mr. Hands money. He's not coming here for, wide receiver 2 money. Amari Cooper is probably going to look for and likely get a number one receiver contract. So I say no. If you disagree, again, talk to me. Put it in the comments below. We'll chat. I like to respond to everyone if I can. All right, final subject related to Cooper, because this subject makes Cooper suddenly a much hotter commodity because the other real big receiver is off the market now, and that is Calvin Ridley, who as of now is suspended for the entire year. Can't even apply for reinstatement until this time next year for gambling on the NFL. Now, don't get me wrong. It's dumb to gamble on the NFL if you're in the NFL. I mean, but come on, kid, go get your cousin and put it under his account and bet through there. I mean, why put it under your own name? But that's besides the point. That's like assuming I'm condoning the guy doing something he shouldn't be doing. But at the end of the day, he wasn't playing. He was out for the season, and he bet $1,500. It's not like this guy went and bet, $100,000 and had inside information. $1,500, and he wasn't even playing. He didn't bet on his own team, at least as far as I know, and it's legal. You're going to put ads out there every 2 minutes. Everywhere I go, there's ads for FanDuel and DraftKings. Now, I'm in New York, obviously. New York Jets, and it just became legal in New York. It's been legal in New Jersey, where I live, and everywhere you go, suddenly sports gambling is in your face. Billions. New York just legalized it a couple of months ago and did, I forget how many billions, but $1 billion to $2 billion in the first 3 weeks, 16 days it was open, something ludicrous like that. So if this is in your face all the time, and granted, I'm sure the NFL has told these guys, don't be stupid, don't do it. This is not a Pete. I've heard people comparing it to Pete Rose. This is not Pete Rose. This is not illegal gambling back in the 70s and 80s when you had to call a bookie and Pete Rose was calling a guy from the dugout betting on his own team. I mean, this is not Pete Rose at all. The only similarity is that it involved gambling. Okay. Other than that, the kid should be punished because it's something they shouldn't do. But at the end of the day, I don't think this warrants ruining his career. I don't think it warrants a full year suspension like this. Now, if other things come to light and he was betting against his team or on his team or had some inside knowledge, then fine. But we're talking $1,500 to the average guy. That's probably like a bet you go in with a bunch of your friends. That's not even that high a bet for like a person with an above average income, but it is high. I don't bet that kind of money when I bet, but it's not outrageous. It's not like you would see, like somebody's either rock stars or professional athletes go into a casino and have $50,000 in front of them betting $1,000 a hand on blackjack. That's not anything like that. So I don't agree with a full year suspension. I think they are unnecessarily making an example of this kid. I understand having to make an example because you want to stop other people from doing it, but there's, if you think Calvin Ridley is the only guy out there gambling, then, here's the bridge. You can pay me $100 and it's yours. All right, I'm out. Great talking to you guys. Leave some comments in the bottom over here. And don't forget to follow me. Subscribe here on YouTube if you're watching YouTube. If you're not watching YouTube, go to YouTube, watch it, and subscribe. If you're listening to my podcast, thank you so much for listening. Check it out. Check me out on all the major social media under Rob the Darksider. The podcast is called Jets Fans Uncensored, and the Facebook page for Jets Fans Uncensored is also in effect. So Jets Fans Uncensored, Rob the Darksider on social media, and you'll find me. All right. Thanks. Talk soon.